Hello guys, welcome back to a brand new video of my channel. So in today's video, I'm gonna summarize to you guys a very good book about the life of Apple founder. So his name is Steve Jobs. So Steve Jobs was born in San Francisco on February the 24th of 1955. So he is adopted by Paul and Clara Jobs. So Paul and Clara was very nice to Steve, and in their house they have a basement where Paul, Steve Jobs' dad, built some of his stuff, like he built the car parts, and then he built some of the stuff for the family to use. So at the small age, Steve Jobs was crazy and he's interested in electronics, and his parents noticed that Steve Jobs is a very special child, and he's very clever. So they decided to put him in the upper grade to learn with all the other older people. So Steve Jobs made friends with Woz. So Steve and Woz soon became best friends, and they shared the same love for math, science, and electronics. So when Steve Jobs, at about 18 or 19 years old, he decided to create his own company with Woz. So the two best friends decided to create the company Apple, and their first product was the Apple I. So it is the computer, and they very success in making the Apple I. So they decided to go further and make a way more better computer, and that is the Apple II. So this is the picture of the Apple II. So the Apple II is better than the Apple I, and it is the first computer that could show information on the screen in color. So they sold the Apple II, and then soon Steve Jobs was a billionaire, and he's famous in the Silicon Valley, and he soon became famous. So 3 years later, his best friend Woz decided to leave Apple to create his new company, and Steve Jobs now has to manage his whole company, and he decided to make some of the design to his company, and then he decided to make Apple the top best company in the world. So after more years, Steve Jobs decided to make the first Mac. So the first Mac computer is the Macintosh, and it is made in 1984. So the screen of the Mac is small and in black and white, but you could use a lot of different writing style, and it is one of the first computer to have a mouse to go with it. So the company is growing very fast, and Steve Jobs is very proud of all of his work, and he decided to think a little different and make another crazy product, and it is the iMac, and it is made in 1998, and the screen was the part of the main computer, and you could pick the computer up easily, and the case was brightly colored plastic. You could see the computer electronics through it, and the mouse was in a circle shape, and this was the only unpopular part of the design. So now, by 2000, Apple was making a lot of money, and in 2001, they decided to make the iPod. So this is the image of the iPod, and you could have over 1,000 songs in the iPod. So the iPod was white at the time when most of the electronic equipment was black. There was no on off which the iPod went to sleep when it wasn't used, and you use the wheel to look for songs on the screen, and you push this to choose. You push a small button in the middle to choose any songs or playlists that you wanted to listen to. So the iPod was sold, and it is very popular by that time, and every teenager wanted to have an iPod for themselves. So the iPod is sold out, and Apple make a lot of money through the iPod. So Steve Jobs designed the first phone for the 21st century, and it was the iPhone, and it was made in 2007. So the iPhone has a new touchscreen that could feel 2 or more fingers at the same time. You could use the internet using 2 fingers. You could zoom in or zoom out, or maybe you can click to choose the website on that phone using your finger. And the phone has no keyboard, and the screen was almost as big as the phone itself. So the iPhone is very popular, and everyone at the time owns an iPhone. But a sad news came. Steve Jobs has cancer, so he decided not to operate or not to have any surgery. He decided he would fight off cancer by himself. So from that day when he has cancer, he decides to change his food, and he eat like healthy every day, and he decided to fight off cancer by himself. So he denied and he rejected any of the operation or any surgery. But his cancer was getting worse and worse. So finally he needed to have surgery and operation. But it was too late. So in 2011, Steve Jobs peacefully died. So everyone in the world pays their last respect to Steve Jobs, the father of Apple. So after reading this book, I rate this book a 10 out of 10 because it's very good. And now Steve Jobs is my idol now because of the work that he did to change the world. I think it's very amazing, and I recommend this book for you guys to read if you want to know about Steve Jobs. So it is the end of this video, and I hope you guys like my video. Please leave a like and subscribe. Goodbye.